Time to go for gold here as Italy take on RAF in the W1 mixed doubles.
On target number 1, representing Italy, Asia Pilizzardi and Salvatore Demetrico. On target number 2, representing REF, Elena Krutova and Alexei Leonov. The line judge for this match is Miss Sinitra Sinivitarani.
So, time to go for the gold medal here in Dubai. Elena Krutova and Alexei Leonov go up against the Italians, Asia Pelizzari and Salvatore Demetrico. Who is going to be the more measured here and claim the world title?
RAF will shoot first.
So almost time to go for the W1 mixed doubles gold medal match. RAF will shoot first as they take on the Italians.
Nine. Seven.
So a little bit of a low arrow there from Elena Krutova.
Nine.
I think we can see all these archers using a wrist strap. So in this category, you must have an impairment in your upper limb and lower limb and core. Usually affects the fingers, the extremities. Just helps them draw the bow using that wrist.
8. 9. 8. 10.
time has run out on the Italians. They had a big opportunity there. Nikki, where did all that time go so quickly?
26 for Italy, 33 for IEF.
Yeah, it can be more difficult with these guys. Obviously, like we talked about, they've got you know, some loss of power sometimes in their upper limbs. It can be their fingers, and it can make it more difficult to load. You know, getting your arrow loaded and shot in this time, and it is tricky. It is short timing.
Yeah, well, I'm not 100% convinced Pellizzari knew that the time was running out on her. She was just getting on with her process there, which is probably the right thing to do, but she didn't even get to full draw.
Yeah, we've talked about before, you know, the archers are obviously sat in the line. They don't have to return behind the waiting line that we see in able-bodied archery. But what they need to do, once they've shot their shot, they need to put their hand up and call audio and visual signal that they've stopped. And maybe that archer didn't do that at the end of the last you know, series of arrows, so that may well be why perhaps their clock ticked on a little bit. I think it's hard as the archer shooting last, because if you shoot last on the last phase there, well, the clock just times out, but on the first phase you've got to remember, you've got to make that signal for the AUK timer to stop and then transfer to the other team.
Well, like everything, when a mistake is made, you just have to put it to one side and crack on. The Italians only shooting 3 arrows in the first end, trail by 7 points, and well, they've just been marked up actually to 6 points, so 27-33 down. Salvatore Demetrico is a world bronze medalist, currently the world number 16. Is going to get the second end underway. That will restore some confidence in the Italian team.
Eight.
Great view there of the sight pin. Looks like he's got a fibre in there. No magnification allowed in this category. Compare that to the teammate. Looks like just an open ring. Just see it against the black bow there, but
Seven.
looks like a little lens in this scope with a dot, but it won't be magnified. As long as there's no
9.
magnification, you can have a lens, that's fine. And then this archer's glasses, just see, she's got that left lens frosted out, so it may well be she's left eye dominant. She's just frosting out that eye so she can make sure she is using that right eye. Oh, timing again.
6.
Well, right on the buzzer now. Was that, will that be counted? Was it released in time?
That's the judge to make that call.
There is that countdown clock. I mean, there's not a huge amount of time for
9.
Leonov and teammate Krutova. They could take a very commanding lead here. Big wobble, but somehow recovers an 8 there. There was a lot of movement on the line. Is that the pressure of that clock counting down?
Maybe, yeah, a bit of a flinch. Brain thinking that the shot was going to go and it didn't. But she managed to keep it strong and maintain it.
They called it a 9 in venue. So the 4 arrows counted for Italy, but they were close to the clock there. 6-point lead for RAF coming into this second end. Currently marked as a 7-point lead. We're just waiting for confirmation. There you go.
And Italy will shoot first.
So 67 plays 60 at the halfway stage. Italy, well, playing a dangerous game with the clock at the moment. They need to just slightly speed up their first 2 arrows to give themselves enough time. Salvatore Demetrico will get the second half of this gold medal match underway.
You can see how he's trying to maximise the time. Fingers on the arrow as the buzzer went off. The tip of the arrow has to remain in the quiver until that buzzer went, as it did. Great shot. Straight into the 10.
Best one of the match. Let's see whether Asia Pellizzari can continue that form here. Not bad.
8.
You can almost see him kind of unit aiming up a bit. He looked like he was low with his front arm and the whole his body and arm pulled up, but still a little low.
Maybe 9.
Oh, time wasted with just trying to get wrapped around that D loop. So that's a little bit of material, we call the D loop, just on that bowstring. Using up that valuable time. Just getting it away in time, I think.
They are playing with fire here, aren't they? Really dialed in now. Five odd seconds to go here. Just a little bit of a wobble.
8.
But an 8 gives them a very solid lead here.
3 points over 93 for Italy.
Curious, isn't it, Nikki, that the Italians are playing with that clock? You know, they're really close to the mark. It seems a little unusual.
Yeah, you know, you've got to remember these guys have got impairments in the upper limb, and we saw the female Italian archer just struggling to get that release aid loaded on the D loop on the string, and that takes valuable time. So, you know, they get 20 seconds in this team round per archer, so it's not a lot to be able to, you know, get that arrow in the bow, loaded and shot. You know, compounds notoriously take that little bit longer to get settled in and shoot anyway. So yeah, they're just, you know, really tight on time.
Italy 94, RAF 103.
Well, you heard it there. It's a 9-point gap between the teams. 4 arrows each to go in this match. That's a big ask. That's a big ask even if you're shooting well within your time period. Italy trailing under a lot of pressure here, not just in terms of the scoreline, but from the clock. Demetrico and Pellizzari will begin at the 4th end, and they need to start well. Well, Demetrico started every end on the last three with 10s.
Eight. Eight, maybe 9.
It's definitely a 9. Just look at the end of that long rod, a little bit of movements, again popping high. I don't think the conditions here, looking down the range, it's lovely and still. I think it's just nerves from these archers, just moving these arrows around a little bit. Who can blame them?
Is there an element of endurance as well? Perhaps that's why the Italians are struggling with their clock.
I mean, potentially, but it is just tight timing. It really is to get these arrows, you know, within that time. You can see that timer now ticking down, about 7 seconds left. Got to make the shot.
Well, that was a little bit more comfortable, but not much. 127, the finishing score for Italy. Leonov could do this with an arrow to spare. And has done that, so 128 already for RAF. So it's just for Elena Krutova to finish this one off. And puts it into the 9 as well. A very respectable 137 would be a target in any match, but Italy sacrificed an arrow on the clock in the first end, and from there RAF in the shape of Elena Krutova and Alexei Leonov just motored on to victory. They are the world champions of 2022.